Hi, my name is Carine. I teach for Y Yoga at Home. Welcome to your postnatal or the fourth trimester. This usually occurs the 12 weeks post-delivery, and we're probably really eager to do something on our back. So let's begin there. Taking your time to lay down on your back with your feet about hip distance apart. Just relaxing and wiggle your shoulders back and down. And then begin to notice your breath. Notice that you can breathe in your belly, abdominal breathing, and exhaling, the belly draws back and down. Now, because usually we have a separation here after being pregnant, the diastasis recti, that's more than 2 centimeters. So what we're going to do is very gentle. We don't really want to interrupt any healing. So we're just noticing that it's normal to have separation for most women. And all you're going to focus on is allowing the breath now not to go into the belly so that we start to build stabilization, and breathe into the ribs. Meaning, you can even take your hand there, inhaling into the rib cage. And as you exhale, imagine now that everything hugs in. Inhaling into the side ribs, maybe a little bit more into the lower ribs. Exhaling, drawing it in. So you're already toning that region by having this inner corset sensation. And then now we come back to abdominal breathing. Notice that opening and the softening. And then from here, let's see if you can feel this evenness of your hip bones, the ASIS here. And imagine there is a cup of water right on top of your lower abdominal region, and keep it nice and even. So it's not spilling towards your face, nor is it spilling away from you. It's not spilling to the left or right. And imagine also, can you feel your neutral pelvis? Meaning there is a little lumbar spinal curve. If you feel it's actually really, your rib cage is lifted and it's a huge curve, then how about softening the rib cage in? Now, having all that, already you might be feeling fatigue because you haven't been perhaps using these areas for a while. If you need to ever rest, just rest. Maybe just windshield wipe your legs from side to side, and then we'll come back. So let's all inhale. Let's prepare here into the side ribs. Breathe in. Inner corsets drawing in. And as you exhale, these hip bones are even. Begin to open your right knee out to the side. Not so much that your whole pelvis tilts. And then back to center. So very gentle. And then inhaling out to the left, and exhale to bring it back to center. We'll just do one more on each side. You can feel your adductors, the outer thighs and inner thighs working. Okay, I lied. One more time because it's so effective. Okay, and if you feel like that's enough, then continue to do that. Or you can open and then slide your heel forward, and then slide your knee back towards the ceiling and slide your heel back in. Let's try the other side. Opening, slide your heel forward, turn your knee to the ceiling, turn your toe to the ceiling, and slide it back. Just one more time. Open to the right, slide it forward, keeping your hip bones even. Slide your heel back towards you. Your head is centered. Make sure you're not collapsing in your neck. And slide your heel back in. Noticing what breath you use for the inhaling to open maybe. Exhale to slide it forward. Inhale to turn your knee back to the ceiling. And exhale to slide it back towards you. Or you'll have your own breath. Your own rhythm that makes it feel like it's natural for you. Okay, and let's bring our hands down. For some of us, this might be enough. If it's available, you might actually rock a little bit and flatten your lower back so that you can feel the little massaging quality on your lower back. So it's tilting the pelvis forward and back. It's as if you're drawing a number 1 on your sacrum. Okay? And for some of us, this might be enough. We don't want to force it, but if it's okay, you might want to press and then undulate your spine. Just do a very low undulation. You don't have to go for the highest undulation. It takes a lot of strength off the back of the thighs and the back of the glutes as well. It's not about a bridge. It's really about undulating and massaging out the back for this one. And then we'll come back down. Maybe now we'll draw some circles around the sacrum. So sacrum is that triangular flat bone in the lowest part of your back. And then we'll circulate the opposite direction. So you might notice it's not really a lot of movements, but my core is actually really engaged here in order to find these movements. And you might notice some other area wants to do some work too. So just give yourself permission to let go. And then take one knee in, then the other. Press your knees away, then open them, and then close them back in. So drawing this sacral circle now with your hands on your knees. And that femur bone is rotating in your hip sockets. Great way to release out any tightness, stagnation. And slowly roll yourself to one side. This time you can roll on the right, since we've been rolling on the left all throughout pregnancy. Take your time, ragdoll yourself up. Let your head come up last. Okay? And then we're going to come on all four. What's fun is you might have a baby there in front of you, and babies love this kind of work. Whenever you're on all four, they can look at your face, and then we'll do some spinal undulation here, some cat-cows. Noticing that your ankle is not sickling in or out. And then spreading your shoulder blades apart, shoulders away from the ears, lifting the rib cage in, belly draws in, and perhaps begin to take your right toe behind you. Maybe take your left hand forward. This is when you can play with baby by just wiggling your fingers. They love that usually. You have the option to also float your right heel off the floor, and make sure you're not sagging. Lift that lower abdominal in, lengthening your arms and your legs away, and hug them towards the midline. And then slowly release. And then other side, left toe, right hand. Maybe hand is better on the floor if you're feeling you need more support, absolutely. Some of us might be on fists, by the way, but just make sure you're not rolling out your wrist. Bring your weight into the second and third knuckles, or perhaps some of us are on our elbows. Okay. So coming back, maybe lifting that left leg, maybe extending the right hand. Make sure you're not shrugging the shoulders up. Some of our angling of our hands might be more out to the side instead of forward. One more breath here, lengthen, and exhale, release. And then from here, most of us are probably getting quite tired in the shoulders. So let's take our left hand behind our head and begin to rotate towards the left. And exhale, come back down. So finding strength in those obliques and into the back of the shoulders. Really great for our postural muscles. And the last one, thread your arm all the way through. Give yourself a little break. If the floor is too far away, you can always add a prop underneath you, prop or props, so that you can lean your shoulder underneath and your head can rest. You also have the option to walk your right hand up and over towards the opposite side as you relax the shoulders down. Or you might take your right hand on your sacrum or drape it over to the opposite thigh. And then rotate a little bit further if that feels good. Just breathing into the back, breathe into those side ribs. And as you exhale, gently press yourself back to the center. And coming to the other side, right hand onto the rib, head, opening towards the right. Exhale, come back to just neutral, and then maybe crossing over, making sure you're not collapsing. Inhale to open. Exhale, twist. Once more, open. twisting. This time, we're going to open and then thread the arm all the way through. Resting on the side of the head, maybe your hand stays there. Pressing into the back of that right arm and soften the shoulders down. Keep your hips even. Breathe into the back. You can take your hand perhaps on your sacrum, or maybe drape it up and over into the opposite thigh, the right thigh. Or, once again, you can take your hand forward and walk it over and allow yourself to rotate a little bit more. This really gets into a different area of the shoulders, but nothing that hurts or cramps up. This kind of twisting can be great to reverse all that baby carrying, shoulder slouching kind of postures. Just releasing the tension. And then come back to center. And we can actually take the block now underneath our knees. You're welcome to take a block right between the thighs so that you can hug in and tone this way. So as you stay here, hugging into the midline, this is toning right there. The toes are active, those deep core lines are already drawing in. Your posture, head, ribcage, pelvis all aligned. It's effort. Shoulders back and down without, the ribs. Now from here, let's take one hand on the belly, one hand on the low back, and keep this nice and neutral. As you exhale, you might lean back a little as a whole line, and then back to center. So imagine that you're drawing everything in towards the center. Keep your focus on one point. And just two more. Notice if your head likes to rock. Then from here, take your hands onto your low back, squeeze your elbows together, and lift your sternum. So imagine you're growing more space between your pubic bone and your chest. You can just look forward. Imagine there's a little peach underneath your chin that you don't want to squish. So because we've just had a big, growth here, we don't want to go for the most exaggerated back bend either. We're just opening and loosening out these perhaps tight areas of the body. And release. Okay. And then I am eager to go out on my belly, because after 9 months of not being on the belly, it's nice. You can try this if this works for you. Of course, not recommended if you've had cesarean, you still need to rest more. Probably won't practice until 8 weeks after pregnancy. After delivery. Just relaxing here. And to prepare, you're going to draw the belly in and up. Begin to turn your toes. So even the pinky toe is touching the floor. Now draw the inner thighs up and take your hands just underneath your shoulders. Draw those shoulders back and down. Keep looking down so the back of your neck is smooth. And from here, begin to just lift one leg, turn your knee in and place it back down. Feel that length, keep it, and do the same with the other leg. Now, keeping your pelvis even, your pubic bone pressing down, draw the belly in, kneecaps lifting off of the floor, and now float your hands off the floor. Nice. Your head and shoulders naturally will lift. You might not look like me, you might be lower, you might be higher, but we are going to slowly lower down. Inhale, prepare, so breathe into the ribs. Exhale, belly in, ribs in, and float yourself long. And then lower. This time we'll take our hands behind us, turn your palms to face each other, fingertips reach towards your heels, reach your heels down and back. And now press your palms towards each other as if you're holding a block between your thighs or between your hands. And exhale, release. And then just turn your head to one side, wiggle your bum, release all that tension. Tuck your toes, take your hands underneath your shoulders. See if you can rest yourself back up to half plank and finish off in child's pose. So as you continue to finish off in child's pose during the 4th trimester, it's also a great time to add more restorative practices because you're probably not sleeping a lot. Thank you for joining me. My name is Carine. I teach at Y Yoga at home. Namaste.